Well, hello YouTubers. Today, I'm going to give you an example of what I generally do. I'll cut it off first. If I don't have anything else in mind, I will go ahead and get it all sanded and smoothed out. Then, along the way, I'll decide whether I'm going to carve it, if I'm going to do anything at all to it. Maybe the grain is pronounced enough that, hey, I think it's good enough the way it is. And that would be, and the sticks are valued at the time, based on the time that it takes. Not the skills, not anything else, it's just the time that it takes. If you're trying to make a few bucks, put bread on the table, then you go ahead and decide whether you want $10 an hour, $5 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever you want for your skills and your trades. So with that in mind, we're going to get started today, see what I do with this stick. I have my dust collector on the end of this angle grinder. I have a Cutsaw rough cutting 4.5-inch disc on this. You can go to cutsaw.com, links down below. If you want, save yourself 5% while you're doing it. So let's get started with this. Now let's take a look at this. And I don't know if you can see in this light or not, but it's not very shiny. I don't get all of it clean. It's still looking fairly rough. But this rough grinder does a good job with this dust collector on top of it. Probably gets about 95% of the dust out, and it keeps it from getting all over the shop. But when you do certain woods like that, they still look a little bit dirty. They're not very shiny. So we're going to have to sand that off of there with 120, usually what I start out with, sometimes 150. We'll knock it right off of that and get it smooth, and we'll be back and take a look at it then. Okay, here we are. We're going to lay out the stick, make plans for the wrist strap and where the grip's going to go. This is a 57-inch stick, so I'm going to mark the wrist strap, and at the top of the grip is going to be about 8 inches. The next one is the bottom of that is going to be 14, which makes the grip 6 inches long. And that's all we have to do for right now. So we can go ahead and bring it around, and that'd be good. Get a mark there we can see just about where we want. And I'll show you. While we do that, I'm going to go back to the carving bench, and we're going to cut some grooves. The grip will be right here. So we'll make 3 here and 4 down here. That way, whoever gets it can make up a good story behind why there's 3 up here and 4 down here. So let me know in the comments if you know of a good story. Let's go into the carving bench and get those laid out. Well, we're back at the carving bench now. We're going to carve some small, shallow rings around, and like I said, it's going to be above and below. I went ahead off camera and wrapped 4 pieces of tape up here, give me 3 lines, and I've got 5 pieces of tape down here, giving us 4 lines. Those lines will be painted a little later on, but I'm going to pull my head down now and get started. It won't take long. I have a aggressive pointed bit from Cutsaw. You'll see my technique here. So let's get started and see what it looks like. Got the camera around a little different angle here, and you see I got my rings carved, and didn't want to get them too deep, but we're going to use black acrylic on the inside of those. But first, the whole stick is going to be covered with green epoxy. I want to show you how I do that. I've got the camera repositioned here hopefully we can show it a little better this way, because I'm on this side, and where I had the camera, I was kind of covering it up sometimes. So hope this works out a little better for you. I'm going to raise it up a little more so we can see the whole stick, and then we're going to mix some epoxy, and I'll show you the process. Okay, my procedure for the epoxy is a couple paper, they're bathroom cups, they're about the size of a shot glass. I have pumps in my epoxy hardener here, but I'm going to give this 3 pumps today, and then you just set them down side by side and see if they look like they're 50-50, which they should be. Since I went to these pumps, I'm getting better pours. It's a lot easier to figure. Now here, I have a solo cup, and I turn them upside down, and they kind of lock in there like so, and I let them drain out for about a minute. I'll show you what I'm using. It's a pigment, and I'll have a link to this down below. I have a mica powder, but it's the brand of this is Rolio. I don't know if that makes any difference or not, but I use that quite a bit. And a sampler kit, you have, well, let me show you that too. They have several colors, and you notice for this whole stick, I'm just going to put about a couple scoops, maybe 3 off the ice cream stick. What I'll do is put that right in there, but I dip this out. Can everybody see that? I think you can see that. Now that's just powder. I'll stick that in there. I'll get a heaping and pour it in, and I'll get another big heaping helping of it and pour it in. And a couple of them's okay, probably is all you need. But I'm on a one-shot covering, so I just put 3 in there, and that works out real well. And they have to stir for about 3 or 4 minutes. This is what I do for the solo cups. Well, anyway, when I get done mixing here, I'll be back and I'll show you how I put that on there. Okay, here we are. And I've stirred this 4 minutes, ready to apply it to the stick. You can see here, some sort of a hook, hang it upside down on some wires I have in the back to let it dry completely. And it just hangs there for 24 hours. So let's get the head of it around here now that we got that hook on there. And sometimes I do that off camera, sometimes I don't. Pour that right out in a rubber glove. I got my handful of it in there, and now I just start rubbing it in. Whatever color you have is good. And I don't know if that's going to be, it's not a fluorescent green, but it does have a green cast to it. Hey, this is new to me, so I don't know what it's going to do. I may have to do this several times to get the color down to where I want it. So we'll just have to see together what it looks like. We don't care so much about down in the grooves at this time because they're going to be painted black, but this green is not covering the wood, which I don't know what it's going to look like. So we'll just have to, we'll learn as we go here. That's looking pretty good, I think. Going to give it a green cast. We won't really know till after it's dried. Now with a rubber glove wipe like this, you get it coated all the way around, that's for sure. Looks like it's going to be kind of a metallic green here, and it's certainly going to be different. Okay, I'm going to take it back and hang it up with that hook, and we'll bring it back and take a closer look at it. Okay, we see our green stick here that we have going, and it has a green hue to it. It looks fairly, it's a rustic green, that's all I can say. And I have some black acrylic here that I'm going to paint, inside all the way around each one of these grooves. We have 3 and 4 here. So the reason for that is to let you make up a story about why there's only 3 there and there's 4 here. So if you got any good stories about that, you leave it in the comments and we will play that game, see what that does for us. But what I did was kind of get this paint. I don't want to get any of this paint on the green as much as possible. So let's just carefully lay that black in there and try to keep from getting it on the outside of the green. And it's going to take a while, but I think it's going to look pretty nice in there. We're going to go over this whole stick. When we get it finished, we're going to go over it with a clear epoxy, so that's going to protect the acrylic paint. And the acrylic paint is very shiny, and it's really going to set this green off very nice. We'll have to take it slow and not get any on the outside of that groove. So after I get that done, I'll be back. We'll take a look at it. Okay, here we go. I have sort of mixed this about 4 minutes, and I have these 3 colors in there. I couldn't tell you how much of each. Just put them in there and get the color you desire. And I want sort of a light green, like so, that looks like it might be about right. Give this cup a little pour into this mold. There it is. Now, all I have to do is set that in a pressure pot overnight, and we'll get it out and take a look at it. Get one of these out of there. Sure not going to say anything while that's going on. Let's see what's inside the pressure pot. So we'll see what happens here. Got it in here. It's been in the pressure pot over 24 hours. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. Okay, now we have to peel these out. It looks kind of messy around where that run over. That just peels right off. You have to peel these right out of that. And it's not hard, but it's not easy either. I should add some streaks of, yeah, a little black and a little camo color. And I hope it matches this stick real well. We're going to get this stick over here and see what it looks like. I think that's going to be beautiful on the top of it. And I think what I'll do is concave this head of that stick out and see what it looks like embedded in there, and that'll look real good. So let's get over there and get that done and see what it looks like. There's my setup to make my concave heads on the end of my stick. That's flat. It's going to be concave. Have a 1-inch aggressive cuts all burr on the end of this is a 1/4-inch shaft, and I'm going to show you how I cut this out. Positive pressure hood, turn it on. Now you turn that like that until you have a sharp edge all the way around, and I'll get that sphere over here and show you what that looks like. Now that sphere sits in the top there now, and it pretty well sits down in that concave, and you see it fits in there really nice. And we'll show you how to get that secure on there right when we get over to the bent. We'll have to go over the end of this a sharp edge there that could catch on the fingers or hand or whatever we want. So we don't want any sharp edges at all. So I've got that now, and that now looks pretty good around there. The next step is to get that secure on the end of that. We got to get a 1/4-inch hole in this for the 1/4-inch dowel pin, and we're going to drill a hole right in the bottom of this one. Good as you can get right here. Eyeball center would be close enough, right there. And right here the same way. I want you to eyeball center right down in that hollow that we just drilled. We have that. And we're going to go over to the drill press now, and I'll show you what to do with this. I've made a jig here out of a wooden clamp, and I've cut some 90-degree angles. You just close it up and draw you a square in there is all you do. I've got that in there so I can lay a ball in there and squeeze it up and get it level. We want to eyeball that across there, just like so. So line it up with your drill bit, and then I want right on that little punch mark that you got. Yeah. And now you just squeeze a 1/4 inch hole in that. Make sure there's at least a 1/4 inch in that, and take this out. And that's all there is to that. We got us a little hole drilled right in the center, and it's 1/4 inch ready for a dowel pin. Now you want to get into here. Make sure that's at least a 1/4 inch deep. I think we got it. I had a little dowel here. I don't know if it's still on the bench here or not. There it is. I want to see if that's long enough, and what we got to do is see if that sticks out. That sticks out there. And we got a little pencil here, so we'll mark the edge of this. Now we know how much that sticks out of that hole, that pencil mark. And we'll take this and put it inside there. That goes a little past that pencil mark. So that means it goes down in about right there. So that means we need a longer dowel rod. So I'm going to cut one a little bit longer than this, and we'll put it in there, and we'll do the same thing again. Okay, we just had our second coat of black acrylic stripes, and we have to put another coat of clear something over the entire stick to protect the water-based paint that's in here. We have one resin coat on it already, so I am going to put another resin coat on that. I have a hook on one end to hang it up on already with a clean tablecloth, and I already have my clear resin mixture mixed up in the cup. So let's get started. Pour me a handful of that stuff, and we're going to just wipe it right on here. It's getting warm already, so we have to hurry and get it rubbed all the way down, and then we'll take it to the back and hang it up. We can bring it right on down the stick. It will be just fine. Now that's all it takes. I'm gonna go back and hang it up, and we'll see it in the morning. Now you see I have the stick back that we give a second coat of the epoxy resin, and it is really slick and glossy, and that's going to seal in that acrylic paint that we had around this edge here. Now if it gets wet or whatever, it's not going to wash off. Now it's time to turn attention back to this end. We have this concave end, which we drilled a hole, and I'm getting ready to mix my 2-part epoxy that we're going to glue those in with. And I use the JB epoxy, and that is really great stuff. You mix it 50-50, and by that I mean just look, put you out to circle there, and I'm going to put out a circle with this color here. We get them about the same size, and we'll be ready to go. And that one's a little bigger, so I'll put a little more of this right in there. And now we're going to watch them grow a little bit, and I'll get about a 50-50 mixture there. We'll start mixing with this popsicle stick. Now, I don't have to mix it 4 minutes like you do with epoxy. I don't know if you can see them or not, but you get them about the same size, and you're ready to start mixing. with your ice cream or popsicle stick, and they don't have to be mixed for a long time at all. Just mix it well. It is super to use. So what I'm going to do, notice I have my green ball sitting there and I have the dowel inside it already there, but I'm going to take it out and put a little of this right there in that pocket, and there's a little bit around the top of that, ain't gonna hurt anything. I'm going to take this dowel rod in and stick it back in there. Now I'm going to turn this around. This is like a cup here. So if you put epoxy in that with it running down, I'm afraid it's going to go that way. So I kind of hold it up here. Let's move this camera up a little bit. You can see the end of it right there. It don't have to be perfectly straight, but get it up there where the epoxy don't run out. I'm going to get a batch of it on this stick so I can pick this board up now, and I'll just pour it right out, and I get it all around that edge. Anywhere where that ball touches, we're going to cement it right in place. And so I want to get that whole concave surface, I want to get it full of this JB weld. And it does, it's like, it welds the glue together. It welds the wood together. It will not come off. I haven't had any reports of any of it coming off. And what I do now, hold my left hand over here, and I get that dowel right down the middle of that, and I push that down as far as it'll go, and it is stuck on there to stay. Let it set up right like this. Let's set it up along with this other one. And you see this here, with what's left on there, leave it on there. You just scrape it down, and it builds up another layer for you for the next time. That just serves its purpose really, really well there. Now, when that dries, we'll just have another slick surface to mix our epoxy on. That's a little professional tip there that'll be worth a lot to you. They should be worth hitting the thumbs up or that subscribe button just to give you the tip about this piece of cardboard. Anyway, I appreciate all of you for staying with me. We're going to have a 10,000 subscriber. Let me get over here at the camera where I can talk. We're going to have 10,000 subscribers coming up very soon. And this stick isn't done yet. I was hoping I could announce it with this video on this green stick, but I'm not sure yet. It looks like our 10,000 is really approaching. Be sure to subscribe, get your name in the hat for that. I'll give you plenty of warning. This is one of them it's coming up pretty soon, so you don't want to miss that. I'm going to let this epoxy dry and we'll be back. We'll see what we do with it. This one is left so slick, I don't think it needs a grip wrap at all. I think what I'm going to do is just make a wrist strap and let it go at that. And I'm going to have a little different one to show you. It's really simple, and I'm going to tear off about a good 2 foot of this, and I'm going to use black because I got black circles on this. Let's just see what that'll do. First, just establish how long you want your wrist strap, and I'd say right there I can get my wrist strap in it very well, and suitable for about anybody. Get the two ends about even. Go around there and tie a knot in it. Just tie a regular old knot. And let's come back and make sure that knot is down to where you can leave a good comfortable wrist strap on your wrist. We looped it around, tied a knot. How much simpler can you get? Now I want to go down to this third, since we have a groove here. This is where I want the wrist strap. So I'm going around there, and just like we're tying a shoe there to start with, but I'm going to try to do a square knot in this, and a square knot just kind of lays a little better, but you can do either one. Dog tight that down as tight as we can get it, and that won't slip out of that groove. Now we have this ugly string sticking out here at the end. But what we want, we tied that. I'm gonna put a dab of CA glue right on that knot in a minute. But what I'd like to do first, I'm gonna trim these up just where they are. I'm gonna cut them off, cut that white out of it, and I'll cut it off of this one. Don't try to cut it any shorter, just leave it just like that. Then I'm gonna take my burner and burn the ends of both ends. And I'll leave a burnt knot on there. Don't let it get too carried away. There we go. We got two nice little black knots on the end of that, and we'll just leave that just the way it is. Now let's get this stuff turned around, get the camera up where we can look, and we'll review this whole stick, and we might be done with it. Yeah, I think we're done with this one, and what a beauty it is. You notice I had this green epoxy on this first, and then I decided to put 3 rings up here, 4 down here. Leave a word in the comment. I want to hear a story about why we got 3 here and 4 there. No particular reason why I did it. I just want you to make up a story about, I want to hear a good story about why there's three up here and 4 down here. Let's just make it a point to do that if you can. If you have any ideas, just let me know. Now, take a look at that ball. I mixed several colors, and I showed you how I did that. I got down on the edge of it with several different colors, let it dry overnight, because if you mix all these colors, put it in a pressure pot, then you're going to get one solid color of some sort. It may be light green, dark red, red and black, who knows. But if you're going to get a design in it, see that right there, a little black going on and streaks in it, you're going to have to do it like the process I just showed you. So now with that, you can see how we embedded that ball in the end. Got the stripes, got a nice wrist strap. You can get your hand through there. Wrapping that would just take away from this beautiful stick. Nice little crook at the end, but it's fairly straight and sturdy as a rock. It's about 57 inches long, and I can tell by where my chin comes to. With that, I just say we're not quite ready for the 10,000 subscribers yet, but we're getting awfully close. Possibly next week. I'll announce that, give you a secret word to put in the comments. But as of right now, just subscribe if you haven't already. Help me get to that 10,000 and get your name in a hat for winning a stick. You'll have a choice from at least 5 different ones. Keep the prayers going for my wife. I appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video.